my practice from a corporate background. I felt like I should be able to do some bookkeeping. I wanted something that would be flexible around my children, but I didn't really know what I needed to do day to day. I didn't know where to look for the support, and I felt like I was completely alone. And then I fortunately met Jo in my journey in my own bookkeeping practice, and she said to me, you know, I felt like this too. I haven't felt like there's a safe community where I can ask these questions. I want to build one. We should work together on this. And so we started it, and we started a group. We had 100 people or so in that group, and they were focused on their goals of growing their own businesses, and it's just been incredible. I think the reason Jo and I connected was that I stood up at the Bookkeepers Summit and spoke about goal setting and how actually you can achieve dreams that you don't think are for you, and we connected.
And I think my one was about how to be a six-figure bookkeeper, so both of us were like, we know we can have big things, and we wanted to help other people achieve big things. I really enjoyed going to those events and sharing. I loved it. But what happened was, that event would come to an end, I'd go home, I'd be high for 48 hours, implement the things I'd learned, and then I'd be on my own again, lonely in a world of waiting for the next annual event. And I just thought there's got to be another way. I've just sat down with a group of ladies and shared the whole process I go through, 21 items I do in my onboarding, and they're all writing down notes, and I'm like, there's no reason for me not to. I just want to share it. I just want them all to do so well, and I think they can feel that we really want the best for them. It's just a safe space for them to have a wobble, and then we're there to help and push them further, because we know, because we've been there, we've had the regrets, we've not taken things and really run with them because we've been scared, and I've made loads of mistakes in the past, so we're there to help them through it, and it's just amazing.
It's like having your own little team. Like, I would consider them more like colleagues than a community. And because you're just sat at your desk all day long on your own. So having like the group ask questions to, having Jo and Zoe pop up on your feed every day almost. It's like, oh, what have they got to say today? It gives you that little boost of adrenaline that you need to keep going, because it can be quite hard when you're on your own. You've got no one to turn to for the hard stuff, and that's what that group is there for.
I think it's the feeling of having support. It's having the network. They're all really friendly. They're not judgmental at all. There's no such thing as a stupid question. So you've got the wealth of information and knowledge and experience from those people, and they're happy to share it. And it's with Jo and Zoe, they've given me confidence and self-belief.
Being part of Six Figure Bookkeeper Club, I've realised that actually we can set up our own business and run our business, and we can achieve what we want to achieve, and it's just knowing that you can get what you're dreaming of. It's just all in the mind, really.
It's just great to have a community there that you can bounce ideas off. Obviously, we've all got all these different ideas, but as a community together, when people come together and put different ideas on the table, you can take your small idea, and it becomes a snowball. It's like rolls and rolls and rolls. It becomes such a bigger and better idea by getting other people's influence and inspiration.
Studying's all well and good and getting the qualifications you need to get your practice licence, but it doesn't tell you how to launch a business or what you need to do to get prepared for that. And I found the Six Figure Bookkeeper Club, and they've got a programme that helps you to do that. Everything from the basics right up to what you need to make the sale at the end of the day.
Their name came up in another bookkeeping group that I was in that wasn't very useful, so I thought, I'm just going to have a look. And I think it was like, trying to think, so March Bootcamp, and I was like, wow, these are like totally different to people like in other groups. They're actually like normal people. It's just like in other groups, you kind of got people, you'd ask a question, how do you do this? And then you'd get about 20 different answers, everybody kind of patronising you. And it was just, they're just like two normal women. And even like in the free group, the answers that people were giving you to like questions you were asking were just totally different to anywhere else. So I think I was like sold straight away just to join.
It's been part of my entire journey. I joined the Six Figure Bookkeeper Club at the very start. I was on the beta course, and it's literally been with me all the way through building my practice up to what it is now. So literally whenever Zoe and Jo say they're doing something, I'm there, because it's helped me so much, and each step it's helped me, you know, develop and continue. And I look back at the Success Programme from when I first started, and I had 2 tiny clients, to now where I am now with 20 clients and staff, and I can still go back to the course and redo things because my business has changed. So it's completely helped me along the way.
So I had no clients when I started. I had no idea about there is so much involved in becoming a bookkeeper and getting your own license and working for yourself. And there is so much that I learned from the Six Figure Book Club, which I've been able to implement. And then from that, I've met all the girls and boys, and then this great community that got together.
So I did the Bookkeepers Bootcamp back in March, April time. Literally, like every single session, I was there, glued to it. Like, this can't be free. This is insane. It's so good. And I signed up there, and then this can only be a good thing. I've not finished it yet, so I'm still working my way through it, trying to find time. But the amount of knowledge and support that you get just from being in the Success Facebook group is phenomenal. It's been great.
I just think I see Jo and Zoe and just kind of what they do, and I think I like when someone's kind of authentic, you kind of drawn to them, and you see how kind of nice and what they do for the community and stuff. So it's just like, actually, I like what they're doing, and I just want to connect with people, like-minded people.
So someone put on about a free boot camp, so I thought, okay, I'll have a look, and I just fell in love with them, and I've been in the community ever since. You can just warm to them, really. They don't just tell you the good stuff about bookkeeping, they tell you the bad days that they have as well, which is quite nice because not everyone does that. You saw the good things, isn't it, on Facebook there, how well everyone's doing, and sometimes you kind of feel like you're not at that point, and it's really hard. But yeah, they're just so supportive.
To be honest, if I hadn't have found the Six Figure Bookkeeper, I probably wouldn't have pushed my business as much as I have. It came at the perfect time. And when I met Jo and Zoe at an ICB conference, I really looked up to them. I found them really inspirational. So when they said they were putting this group together, I was like, I'm in. I'm totally in. And I just never looked back, because, you know, I couldn't be without it now. The whole community, everyone is so friendly. Everyone wants to help each other and support each other, and if they have clients that come their way that they're not necessarily a good fit for them, they'll pass them over. It's just great. Love
it. Hello. It's the last one, Jo. What are we going to do?
We're going to have to go back to our families.
I know, what are we going to do? Oh, hi everyone, how are you doing? Nice to see Nicola and Steph here.
Hello, thank you for such an amazing week. It's been fantastic. Such a great boot camp again. So well done, ladies.
Oh, thank you.
We're feeling emotional.
Yeah.
Gone so quickly this week. It's really flown by.
It's
been exhausting as well.
Yeah. The thing is, when you're having fun, time does fly by, and we definitely have had so much fun this week. Right, so let's get started with this evening's session, our final session, but we're going to enjoy it on a Friday night. I can't believe there's so many of you here. Thank you so much. Zoe, shall we start by talking about our sponsor? And I don't know if we need to move that little thing out of poor Nicola's face.
I know. Let's a little banner off the bottom. Let's say
it's her badge. Yeah, Zoe's got her badge on.
You've got yours.
Badge. Oh, you've got yours on, Nicola.
Yay! Thank you to our sponsor, Go Proposal by Sage, for supporting us during the week. We had an amazing session this afternoon with James Ashford, who, as always, put the world to rights on everything that we should believe about ourselves and our ability to charge our worth to our clients. Go Proposal have also offered an amazing discount to new new registrations for Go Proposal, whereby you get 30 days free and then you get 50% off your first 2 months. And I'll see if I can pop the banner up on the screen with the link to do that. They've also suggested that they would have a look into something for existing members, which we will have to get back to you about. So we'll hope that James is watching this and will follow up with his team. Yeah.
We both put something up at the same time.
I
like it. Look, I didn't know you could do two at the same.
Joe's doing all the tech.
14th session, I managed to get it. There we go. Oh yeah, today was so amazing. Also, just to let you know that at midnight tonight, our bonuses for the 6-month success program come to an end, but you can still purchase the program until Monday evening. We've got our new members call, where we want everybody to come on, all the new members to come on at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. So you've got until then to purchase. But if you want to take advantage of those bonuses, then you still have until midnight tonight.
And just in case you wondered what those are, we're including all of our bootcamp replays. There is a lot of content there, all organised for you in order to take you through all of the lessons that we've learned over previous bootcamps. And it hasn't always been about our RISE framework. We've done things about social media, confidence, marketing yourself. We're also including our pricing report we've been talking about. So whenever you've heard us talking about how much our bookkeepers are charging for particular services and what the rest of the people we've surveyed are charging, all of the information is in that report, so that's all going to be included as well. So hopefully that's helpful. So yeah, maybe I'll pop the link up when we start talking. I'd love to know, ladies, we need to do some intros, but I'd love to know, like, for everyone here, what's been your favorite session over the week? That might be putting you on the spot because you weren't expecting me to say that, but we've just had such a jam-packed week. I wonder what it was.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I always loved James Ashford's ones, the information and, you know, just the way he comes across, and it just makes so much sense. He just makes it sound so simple and just really fires you up to go for it, and it really sort of helps you to believe in your worth. But everybody on the sessions have just been fantastic. It was great listening to Laura, you know, the mentoring that she can provide to businesses like myself. You know, everyone has just been great. It's just been a fantastic week again, and I'm really pleased to be a part of it.
Oh, we love the fact that you're part of it too. Thank you so much, Steph. And Nicola, this is not your first rodeo tonight. You have already been on boot camp. What's been your favourite parts of this week?
It's the same for every boot camp session for me. It's listening to other bookkeepers' stories. I just love all the members' stories when they come on. So we had Laura today, didn't we? Emma Sanderson the other day. I can't name everybody because I'm under pressure now to remember people's names.
we have had quite a few, but we've actually had
Kath was fantastic.
Kath,
yeah,
we had
How
Juliana as well this morning, didn't we? And then who did we? Emma James as well has been on. Obviously, I can try and remember everybody as well. But and Sophie Davis on day 2. Yeah, we've had so many. And actually, we made a conscious decision to have more bookkeepers and accountants on talking about themselves more than any other bootcamp we've done, because we know you all love it. And that's where we get the feedback that you just really love to hear people at different stages in their journey, deciding to build different businesses. I mean, we've all got very similar kind of backgrounds and things, but actually the way that we take our businesses forward can be so completely different. I love that Laura, you know, coming from Germany today, and then Juliana was there from Sydney. I mean, how international are we? I think it's just so much fun to show that we can build businesses like this. And I just think I'm so proud of everybody, that because it's not just about telling your stories tough and then answering questions from us and then being live in a community. That's all taken so much courage. So we are mega proud, and we feel so supported as well when we include you all. It's lovely.
And I think it helps to make people feel like it's a bit more relatable, seeing, you know, other people within the community, and that we have all had such different journeys and different challenges. You know, listening to mindset coaches and things like that. They're all fantastic. They all help with personal development. But I think hearing from other members as well and how they've got to where they are really like makes it more real, because you can see people have put things into action. So it makes people think, actually, yeah, I can go for it, especially if, you know, you're just at that point of thinking about whether to leave a job or, you know, just starting out. It's been great to hear from everybody.
It really has. It really has. And I know that Zoe has been madly writing notes and quotes and things. And I know that I remember Karen Kennedy last night. I was just watching in awe with some of the stuff. She came out and spoke as if she was a motivational international coach. Some of the wisdom that came, and I was like, oh, who is this Karen? Oh my goodness, she was just amazing, absolutely amazing. And no one's come on saying, oh, I'm so pumped for this, I am ready. Everyone's come on going, oh my goodness, I'm really nervous. But everyone's absolutely just smashed it. And I'm just so excited. And it'd be a shame. This is why I want this to carry on and on and on, because it's just so much fun and lifts us all up so much. So let's start though from the beginning, because even though, Nicola, we did hear from you the other day, but I don't know how, I can't remember exactly all the stuff. Let's start again with Nicola, just because there might be new people joining tonight and they might not have heard your story the other day. So Nicola, would you like to give us a bit of a background of where you started and when you started your business?
Yeah, so I'm Nicola Fallon. I run Virtual Accounts and Taxes. I launched in August 2021 after spending nearly 30 years in corporate finance roles, mostly as a global payroll manager for large corporations, but I did have other finance roles along the way. So I'm very new in my journey of owning my own practice and running it. It wasn't an easy start, it was a very slow start, but since January it's kind of taken off and I've grown to over 50 clients now. I do a variety of different services, everything from bookkeeping, payroll, self-assessment tax, all the way through to corporation tax and limited company returns. And I've not really got a niche in industry. That's the main thing. I can't find my niche yet. I just like, it's a people thing to me. If I get a good vibe when I go on a call with somebody, that's who I'll work with.
And I suppose for you though, Nicola, I mean, we all know you as like the payroll queen in the Success membership, because you are there answering all the questions about payroll. But you do keep saying, I don't only do payroll, I do other things, and you like the other things. But you are very good at that. But also, I think your niche is the fact that you are really good at marketing yourself with Reels and on Instagram, and you are very consistent. And I think you will be easily turning people away that aren't going to like your personality. Your personality is out there and attracting people. Yeah. And I love that your son joined in and did the whole like Friday afternoon off, drinking a beer, walking out the door. I mean, so if someone's going to look at that and think, oh, she's not for me, you're already getting rid of people that they won't even approach you because you're so out there. And I think they know that you really get your personality across. So it is going to be a personality niche, which I think is fantastic. And I love that your sons work with you and you've got a team at home. It's amazing. And you're doing so well. 50 clients, you only started last year. You should be so, so proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Oh, bless you. And Steph, would you like to give us a bit of a background?
Yes, so I started in accountancy practice about 23 years ago now. I was there for 14 years and then I moved into a financial controller role and was there for 6 years. I never had any intention of going self-employed or setting up on my own. I really enjoyed being employed and working around people. But circumstances arose where my integrity was being questioned. I was at the bedside of a family friend that I was caring for. And as he passed away, my boss was emailing me asking where I was. And I just cracked. At that moment, I just snapped, made a decision that I couldn't do that anymore. I'd worked from 7 a.m. till 10 at night. I couldn't remember the last time I'd had a lunch break. So the next day I handed in my notice. I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no savings. I hadn't got pipeline of clients that or people that I knew I was going to talk to. I just knew that I couldn't work for that person anymore. So I'd worked my 5 weeks leave, went to Thailand, set up my limited company, designed my business cards, came back, went networking, and picked up an interim contract through an employment agency. And so that was great because it just kept a bit of money coming in, regular money, but also helped me to understand all the new softwares, because all I'd used was Sage for 20 odd years. I didn't know of all these new automated softwares that were out there until I went to Accountex in 2019. So from that, I kind of developed into my role very quickly. I realized I didn't want to do year-end accounts and tax returns. I kind of was too long out of that game to feel like I was comfortable enough to do that sort of work. So I now focus on bookkeeping for a handful of clients, but for those that want more sort of management accounts and maybe sort of virtual FD type level involvement. So I only work with about 7 or 8 clients, but I have like really regular contact with them. I'm in touch with them on a weekly basis. And like with Nicola, for me, it's not about niche into the industry, because I feel quite comfortable working with a number of different types of industries. It is all about personality for me, and having that really close business relationship and almost feeling part of their team. And I love that. I love that, you know, they'll invite me to their Christmas parties and invite me to awards dinners and things like that. I'm very much a face-to-face kind of person. I don't promote on social media. I don't use Facebook or Instagram. I use LinkedIn, but I tend to just post more personal stuff, but try to add a bit of a business twist. And it was really funny, actually. I had a call with Sam from Swoop earlier in the week, and he said, I don't know if it's just me, but I can't find anything about you. And I'm like, no, you won't, because I don't put it out there. But, you know, it works for me. But as I say, I'm sort of 3 years in, and I know if I'd have known about this and, you know, all the different softwares right at the beginning, I could be in a very different place to where I am now. I'm still in a healthy position, but there's so many things that I could have done so much better. And being part of this now is giving me the ability and the confidence and the tools to actually go back and, you know, put those things in place that just make everything so much easier.
It's a learning journey though, isn't it? Like you kind of have to go through that process to realize that sometimes, oh, there's another way or a better way, or I can do this going forward. I really love that you both have quite different approaches to marketing. Like Steph, within our community, we're always sort of joking with Steph that she's going out and having dinner with everyone and like going to all these fancy lunches and stuff like that. And then the rest of us are like making reels, and Nicola's got her family involved. I love it. And it just shows that you need to adapt your way of doing everything in business to what's right for you and what's right for your clients. So there's no right way, is there? I'm really curious about, so you both work with quite different clients, and I think when I don't know, you'll tell me, how have you felt with pricing very different jobs for different clients? Has that been challenging, or how did you approach pricing in the sort of first instance?
£25 an hour.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, because I had no idea about setting up, a business or what I was going to do, my first approach was, right, well, what do I need to earn my salary that I'm just about to walk away from? And it worked out to about £25 an hour. But, and I asked a friend who'd set up a year or two before, and she said, yeah, that's about right. That's about the market rate for bookkeeping. But, I just saw that as a transaction, an exchange for time. And I didn't factor in like all the extra work that I was actually doing on top of the bookkeeping. So when I got the interim contract, that was through an agency, and that was £25 an hour. So I thought, oh, I must be in sort of the right ballpark. If an agency is paying me £25 an hour, it must be about the right one. But for them, I was doing things like setting them up on SharePoint and making sure they were all networked. Doing things that was way outside the actual numbers. It was actually helping them to run the business, which is kind of more what sort of a finance director type role would do. Is FDs will tend to get more involved in IT and be pulled into various bits of the business. So I think that from that's where I sort of started to think about pricing. And I'd seen, there's Mark Wickersham, and who does the sort of value pricing and things like that. And going to things like Accountex, you start to hear more about value pricing and fixed pricing. So when I looked at the type of work I was doing, I started to, quote for a fixed price, but I didn't use any software to start with. And it was very much a finger in the air kind of, what do I feel comfortable asking them for? And I would spend hours putting a proposal together in Excel, tweaking it, putting it into a PDF, reading over it, going, oh, don't know. And I'd go back and redo it. And it was hard to start with, to know how to price it correctly. And with things like Go Proposal, you can do that straight away. I don't use Go Proposal myself. I use Practice Ignition, and that's only because when I've been to conferences, they were the ones that I got the demo from, and I'd seen in action and really liked the way that it worked. I think it's very similar, but now it really helps me to price a job, as we're talking about in this community. So one of my biggest tips to anybody listening tonight is go and get some form of pricing software. Don't try to just do it off the top of your head. Get it in place straight away. Because whilst it is some people will see it as a big cost, trust me, the amount of time I spent putting it all into Excel and procrastinating and panicking and this, that, and the other, at £25 an hour, the work that I've lost trying to put this proposal together, it more than covers like the monthly fee of one of those softwares.
So interesting. And you're so right. It isn't about which one you choose. It's just choose one and get on with it.
Yeah,
because don't be trying to use Excel and Word. I mean, I know Emma James spoke about the fact that she's created her own things and that if that's your bag, then fine. But the majority of us will not have a Scooby-Doo on how to do that. So I think, yeah, absolutely use, because exactly what you said there, that £25 an hour, if you want to do 3 proposals a month and you're spending an hour a time, you've paid for the software.
Yeah, and trust me, they take more than an hour at a time putting them together, because you will think, oh, is it right? And you'll change that and you'll change that. I've probably lost 2 or 3 hours over one proposal for about £450. It was crazy. But it is that money mindset thing that we talk about, and 100%. If you just let go of that and implement it right at the start, you will get the income. I implemented Practice Ignition in January. I sent out a proposal from that, the first one that I did, and it was a £1,200 per month one, and they signed up straight away. So the cost of Practice Ignition just in 1 month's revenue was covered for the entire year.
Exactly.
The next month covered the cost of joining up to the Success Programme. So but I was fired up from that January boot camp to stop procrastinating and just effing do it. So when we talk about JFDI, that's what it means. Just effing do it.
Oh, I love it. I've seen quite a few JFDIs. Excellent. Nicola, do you want to tell us a bit about your pricing journey, where you started? I mean, I know it's not that long ago, but I know you've also been on a bit of a pricing journey too.
Yeah, sorry. That's my social media reminder. Sorry.
Love it.
Anyway, yeah, so I was in the fortunate position before I launched my practice, I did your 6-month success program. So I had access to all your knowledge and experience about what to price and what software to use. One of the first things I invested in was Go Proposal. Obviously, never worked in practice before, never had to do any sales or anything like that. So I just went with what was for the pricing. I just used their tool. I went through that and I worked with that. And it's not always been correct. I've tweaked it quite a few times since then now, in the 10 months that I've been using it. Like I've just completed a set of accounts for somebody that I priced back in November, and it's massively underpriced. So, but I already knew that when I was going to go and do it, because I hadn't priced based on industry, and this was a retail client, and obviously retail clients are a lot more involved and a lot more transactions and a lot more to look at. So yeah, so throughout the 10 months, I've chopped and changed. I've moved things about. I've added line items. I've added industry-specific percentages increases. I have discounts for people that I do the bookkeeping myself for. I charge a bit more for people that I don't do the bookkeeping for. So, but that's how I use Go Proposal, and it's been a godsend, really. I couldn't do without it. But it's not always been easy. I mean, my first live proposal, when you see the price come up at the end, and it's quite a large client. It was a payroll client. It's my first big payroll client, and when you see the amount come up at the end when you're going through the live proposal with them, it's so hard not to. I've learned a trick now. I sing Happy Birthday in my head while I'm waiting for them to digest. So I'm just sat there and sit back and just go through the words, and it's a bit of an awkward silence at first, but they're always first to speak, and that's what I want.
Yeah, James always says that, doesn't he? He says, let the thing come up on the screen and then shut up.
Yeah.
Stop trying to justify everything with words. And it is so true, because the amount of times I've not said anything, and there you go, there's the calculation. Happy birthday to you. And I sing it in my head, and then they go, oh, and keep singing, because that "oh" could mean anything.
Yeah.
And then they go, okay, all right, bit more than maybe I thought, but I can see what's there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can start having a conversation. So do you want all of those services? You know, is that right for you? And they're like, yeah, I want all those services. I had this the other day with a hairdresser, and she hasn't opened her salon yet. And she was like, I want it all. I want it all. Like, I want it all, but I haven't even opened yet. So we've come up with a thing where she wants to do the alignment fee. She understands she needs to pay for it, but she hasn't opened up and done anything. So we've made a plan. She's going to join again in August, and she will have to pay a couple of months of alignment fee, but she'll have money coming in then. So we've just moved the start date. We haven't stopped the proposal. We've just moved to a point when she's actually got money in the bank because she's not even started. And that's and I was thinking she's going to say no. She's going to say no. And she went, oh no, I want it all. I want it all. So I think it's, and like Steph said, when you've got that proposal, you're sitting down and tweaking yourself. All those gremlins in your head are arguing with you on every single line that it's too much, it's too much, it's too much. And then you bring it down. So not only are you wasting that 2-3 hours on the proposal, then you're knocking down the price forevermore. And I think that is maybe the biggest thing that I've got out of pricing software, is that the price is what it says on the tin. And there's nothing I can do about it. It's out in the universe now, and they can say yes or no. And actually, if they say no, then they weren't going to value my services anyway. They weren't ever going to pay what I wanted them to pay. There was going to be an imbalance, that scope price, difference. And I wasn't going to be happy. So actually, it's a real godsend when they say no at that point. So just be thankful, because that has definitely saved you more than the £60 a month in overworking for them. Absolutely. So it's worth it in that instance.
Yeah, all credit to you, Nicola, for sitting and doing one live. I've not done that yet.
That was my very first proposal I did live.
But I have actually sent one out today. Like I joined the accountability session this morning, and when Leander was hosting it, so she's like, "What so what are you going to do? And one of my tasks was to reprice a client that I've been working with for a year. I didn't quite get around to sending it out, but I was like, come on, Steph. And I made a commitment to myself that I was going to get it out before the end of boot camp. So I sent it out tonight, and I've had to shut my email down because I don't want to see whether it comes through or not, or whether he questions something. But I've increased that fee by £475 a month tonight. So I'm a bit like, oh! But I feel pretty confident, to be fair, that he will sign up, because I think I've demonstrated enough of the value that I'm showing. He knows he can pick the phone up anytime. We talk almost daily, to be honest. So, just under £1,400 a month, I think, is a reasonable fee for what I'm doing. So watch this space. But I was like, I'm determined that I'm going to do it, so I can come on this call and say I've repriced, and I've been putting it off. I was supposed to do it for the start of June, and I updated my finance spreadsheet this morning on the accountability session, and I saw I had to take what I thought was coming in and put it down to what I was still in, and I'm like, no, you've got to do it now. So I was like, right, before boot camp tonight, you're sending that proposal out. So I did.
Did he know it was coming? Did he?
Yeah, I'd had a chat with him. I'd sort of been on site with him a couple of weeks ago, and I sort of flagged it to him that, I was going to be sort of reviewing all my engagement documents anyway, and sort of making sure they were all up to date. And I said, with everything that I'm doing now, because I've taken on a lot of fortnightly reporting as well. So I'm doing a fortnightly dashboard. I'm doing fortnightly payroll rather than monthly payroll. So I said, I will be having to just look at the fee. But what I did is I use Dex Precision. I don't know whether anybody in the community uses Dex Precision. I know Jo does. But what that does is it shows me an overview and gives me like the number of transactions, the turnover, all the potential duplicate contacts, duplicate records and things. So I always try to use that right at the start of taking on a new client anyway, so I can show them like the state of their Xero or QuickBooks before I then get my hands on it. And then you can kind of use that and either, give them a quarterly report or 6 monthly annual report, and they can sort of see how it's improved over that period of time. So I used that tonight to look at the number of transactions, and the number of transactions had gone from 1,700 to just under 4,000. My fee had stayed the same. Turnover has doubled. So I kind of put that in the email. I didn't go into too much detail because I've got a really good relationship with him. So I was like, don't go overkill. He doesn't need to know all the ins and outs. So I just sort of said, your turnover's gone up. Your turnover has almost doubled. The volume of transactions has more than doubled, but you'll be pleased to know my fee hasn't. I know it's a bit of a jump, but I hope you see the value in what I'm doing and the close relationship that we've got. I appreciate in time you may look to recruit somebody internally, and I'll be there to support you and help to train them as and when required. So, not trying to go, I'm doing all this and this and this and this for you now, which I wasn't doing before. So this is why my fee is going up. It was just a very simple summary, so as not to bombard him, but to just really highlight, the key differences to what I was doing then when I did that initial proposal last year to what I'm doing now. So fingers crossed.
I think you're right, like short and sweet, and he sees it coming. Because I wonder, like, I never did a live proposal on with a client. Like if I knew what it was going to be, because we'd had a chat before, I could tell them, but I never went through it line by line. And so I would send things out by email. But I do now wonder, like, obviously having it on the screen as you're going through it is so much more powerful. It is. Yeah. I don't think there's any getting away from that if you're able to just like change things in real time as well, if you need to. And I suppose for you, Steph, he knew it was coming. He's going to see it. He'll have some feedback one way or the other, and then you can have a chat with him about it when he feels that he's able to do that. So,
so what he'll get from that is like a a brochure. And this is another thing that sort of makes the proposals from software look so much more professional. So what gets sent out to him is like a bit of a brochure, a branded brochure that Practice Ignition put together for me, something I was never sending out before. But I've included a breakdown of the services, so it will show bookkeeping, how many transactions that covers, what it covers. It will then show advisory services, and I've tweaked the wording in that specifically to him so that he understands that that's kind of like more the fortnightly reporting and the discussions we have around that and what that might mean for him. And then, you know, breaking down the monthly management accounts, what's that involved? And then it does give him the price line by line. So when he can see the bits individually, he can go, oh, well, you know, that's not a bad price for all those bits. And it just gives him more of an understanding of how that total figure of 1,400 is made up. But then he can see if, you know, he wants to go and get a quote from somebody else for payroll, he knows what I'm pricing it at, you know.
Yeah, I think that transparency is so important and trust inducing, really. Also, what I like to do is when I'm doing a new proposal, I like to I sometimes, so when I'm doing a fee review, so not a brand new proposal, a fee review, sometimes on a fee review I'll record it on Loom rather than doing it live, because we've already got the relationship and I've already told them that they're going to get a fee reprice. And then what I do is have the Dex Precision numbers. Well, I've already got them in their first ever proposal. And then when I bring it through, so I can say, as you can see in your last proposal, we would charge you for 10 purchase invoices a month. But now you can see the software's telling us that on average over the last 3 months, you're now at 50 purchase invoices a month. So we've repriced that accordingly. It's very much like, well, the computer says this. It's not me saying it. So you can't come back on me. The computer and the data is telling me exactly what is. And it gives me the confidence. And I really like comparing, like you said, just giving a very quick overview. That's what it was before. This is where you're at now. And they can't really say much unless they just think we're overpriced and they don't value what we're doing and they can't see that things have increased. Then that's up to them. That's fine. Yeah. That's fine. So, Nicola, in your business, what software are you using? Well, I mean, would you like to share your app stack for most things? I think people would like to know that.
Yeah, so Go Proposal, Zoom, Calendly, Xero, BrightPay, what else? I think that's it. Canva for my posts on social media. Credco to collect my payments now. I'm on Go Cardless as well. I'm just transferring everybody over to Credco slowly. I think that's
so. Are you moving from Go Cardless to Credco?
Yes, I am.
Excellent, lovely. Thank you for sharing. And Steph, what's your app stack?
So software-wise, it's mainly Xero, but I have got a client that uses QuickBooks. I use Dex Prepare and Dex Precision. I use Practice Ignition. I use just recently implemented Centre. I've just switched from Accountancy Manager. What else? I think that's about it, because I don't use Calendly at the minute. And I don't use anything like Canva. I had to get Gemma to put together my thing for advertising that I was speaking at this, because I was like, I've never used Canva. Help. But yeah,
I forgot I use Centre as well. That's the biggest part of my practice. I couldn't do without Centre. I can't believe I forgot that. And I use Dex and Dex Prepare and Dex Precision. So
yeah,
I've got quite a lot.
I use Sift for management accounts and Fluidly for cash flow forecasting. Yeah,
wow.
That's fine.
We've all got a lot of overlap, haven't we? We have got a lot of overlap, and that's interesting. And I think it's really interesting when people are looking at new software. It's nice to see what other people are using. There's some differences amongst us all, and that might be just down to preference or who you were chatting to at the time. Like you say, Steph, when you saw something, you're like, oh, that looks really good, and absolutely. So, Nicola, what would your tips be to somebody, a bookkeeper, if they were struggling with their pricing? You know, what I mean, how did you deal with? I mean, I know you said you use Go Proposal and they're wizard. Did you have to go through a bit of a mindset shift when you saw the prices that came out?
Yeah, absolutely. Because for me, I didn't know what the prices were, what other practices were charging, and so it was just like a blind stab in the dark, and that's why I went with Go Proposals prices that they recommended. And there's been times where I've had the whole, oh, you're far too expensive. And so I think somebody said in the chat earlier, it's quite hard not to take it personally. But now I don't care. if I'm too expensive for them, they're not the client for me. I'll just move on to the next thing. But so my biggest tip is to stick to your guns with it. Don't undervalue yourself. Definitely don't do it any cheaper, because you'll just resent doing the work. And I'm telling myself that now, but you know, I did a post, what was it, last month, where I said, this price is coming out at this much. Can I really charge this much? And everyone's going, go for it, go for it, go for it. I didn't actually win that client, but I got some really, really good feedback on that. And it was a big company, and I spoke to 6 different people in the finance team, and those 6 people are going to me. They could move roles. I could get involved in another company somewhere. So it's good kudos. And although I didn't win the contract, I'm quite happy with the way it went, and I'm glad I stuck to my guns, because I wouldn't have wanted to do it for any less.
It's really important to know. What advice would you give to people who, well, in terms of, you kind of want to avoid people going on the call with you, going through the whole proposal, and then them going, oh, no, that's way more than I thought you were going to say. So how do you stop people from being in that position by pre-qualifying them before you make an appointment with them?
My prices are everywhere. They're on all my social media, they're on my website. So when I get the first inquiry, I just point them in the direction of my website, and I get them to book a call through that, rather than just sending them a calendar link. I'll say, have a look at the services, have a look at the prices, and if you still want to go ahead, there's a link on there to make a call with me.
Oh, that's amazing. That's really good. Again, it's that transparency, and it's pre-qualifying and getting rid of people, so you're not wasting your time on a call. I love that. Steph, what's your advice for people starting out that are a bit nervous with pricing? What would you suggest?
Well, as I said before, definitely look to invest in a pricing software. You know, right from the beginning, I took on a client that was £25 an hour. And then I went to Accountex, and I saw, you know, how amazing software like Dext was. So I was like, right, I need this in the business. So then I start implementing that with them. And because I'm pricing per hour, I'm implementing efficiencies for them. They're getting their information a lot quicker, but actually my fee goes down because I've actually physically spent less time doing it. So anybody that's starting out, don't make that mistake. Recognize the value that you're delivering in terms of, you know, the bookkeeping and anything else that you offer. Really just don't exchange your time for a monetary value. For me, with pricing, obviously not having a website or anything like that, my prices aren't anywhere. And I've usually built up a bit of a relationship with the person first. So, you know, pretty much all of my clients have come from face-to-face networking. So, you know, I've probably spoken to them at a networking event and then arranged like a one-to-one coffee or maybe a lunch or something like that, and just really got to know them and got to understand them as a business, but also talked a lot about what I do and really got across how passionate I am for the work that I do and how much I enjoy what I do. So when they see how passionate you are about what you do, and they get the feeling that you will care for their business in the same way that you would care for your own, it then gives them confidence in you. And so when you do send them a proposal, when you've got to that stage, for me, I've been really fortunate. I've not had anybody, well, I say I've been really fortunate. I've not had anybody turn me down yet, which probably means I'm too cheap. But, you know, I think I've not had anybody say no, because they've got to really know me and understand what I'm about as a person. And, you know, I love working on site with their teams as well, because it gives me a real insight into the business. And, you know, when you're trying to help them implement changes, if you've been on site and have worked with their teams, it becomes a much easier process to make those changes that are then going to help that business to grow. And when the business owner sees that level of involvement, there really is no question about then putting up your fees. And, you know, but it's making sure you've got something in place that helps you to value it correctly right at the start.
Absolutely. And I love that you're out there, you're building relationships, as exactly as Ashley Lee said. You know, it's about people know, like, and trusting you, and you're doing a lot of that warm-up work at in-person events, just like Nicola's doing it on social media, so that when people do finally come to you, they already know they like you, they already trust you, and they know that they want to, you know, this is really personal, putting your finances in someone's hands. You know, I think sometimes because we see so much of it, we're a bit like, oh, it's fine. Like, yeah, but for everyone, it's quite individual. It's an emotional thing to share that with you, especially if a business is going through a bit of a rough patch, or they haven't got the confidence in the numbers. Maybe they don't know what their current accountant does, and then they're a bit nervous to pass it over. A lot of the reason that people stay with accountants, even if they don't think they're getting a good service, they just assume that's the service they're going to get everywhere, because they don't know that there's something different. So by sharing your personality and having those soft skills and, you know, being interested in their business, people will start to think, oh, you've actually asked me a question about my business. Are you actually interested? And this is how it could be. This is really good. Okay, so Nicola, for you, we're getting to the end now of this session. I can't believe it's been 52 minutes. So how mad is that? It's, you know, what does the future look like for yourself? You've now got, you know, some people working with you. What do you want? What's the next steps for your business, or where do you see yourself in the next 10 months? I can't believe it's only been 10 months.
Yeah, so obviously I still want to keep on growing. But it wasn't the intention. I just wanted to replace my corporate finance salary. But now I've got a job for my two sons. We struggle to fit in the office now, so my next step is trying to find office premises. I need a few more clients first, so I think. And yeah, I just want to keep growing. I really like the fact that, because my two sons obviously are young, and I like mentoring them and training them and getting them up to speed. And I think that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to employ lots of young people and give them the advantages and training that I didn't have at their age. That's what I want to do.
Oh wow, that's lovely. I mean, yeah, what a goal. And I love, do you know what? And I love that, you know, you're new and you're all squished in a space, and that you're looking, you know, and when you do move to a premises or whatever, you know, that what a great goal. And when you're there, you'll think, wow, you'll actually physically feel the growth. I know that for me and my husband and son, when we were, you know, we were in the dining room, one of us was in the living room. I mean, my son still now goes and does his some of the stuff up in his bedroom. He sits there on his laptop on his bed, but he can do that with Dex and Zero. It really doesn't matter. He can sit there and do that. He can listen to his music and stuff. And I do like the idea that we can change our positions. Sometimes we sit in the garden as well. We put outside electricity so that we can, and a shield so that the sun doesn't go on our screens, so that we can do that as well, because I think it's really important. But having this garage, you know, converted was like being here, just like, oh, next level. We've reached that next level, and it's really nice to have those steps and really recognise and celebrate them when that happens. Steph, what's next for you and your business?
So I've recently taken on an assistant who's sort of working part-time around a newborn baby. So she's doing 15 hours a week for me at the moment with some of the bookkeeping. I potentially want to look at maybe outsourcing some of the management accounts work to free me up to actually being able to go out and present more. Because I think one of my strengths is being able to talk to people, explain their numbers, and some people don't necessarily have that confidence but are amazing at producing management accounts. So I see that as a potential avenue for me to go down. I want to get involved in more charity work. There's quite a few charities that I support through my business, so I want to maybe look to become a trustee of a local charity and support them. And with the assistant that I've taken on, she didn't have any experience. I took on doing her partner's tax return, and she had done an amazing Excel spreadsheet. And you know, when you just see somebody and think, you've got something. She was a PE teacher at the time, and I asked her if she would be interested in maybe a change of career, something that she could do working from home. So she's doing that. I've bought a course for her to do that's kind of, there's no pressure on her to do it. It's to help develop her and make sure that she really wants to get into sort of bookkeeping and accounting. And then once her little one is in nursery, I want to be able to support her and her family, and if she wants to then progress and maybe do AAT or something like that, be in a position to be able to fund that for her. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really trying to target becoming that 6-figure bookkeeper by sort of January next year. I'm about 85, I think, forecast at the minute. If this one signs up, that should definitely hit that. But yeah, I think to say after 12 months I'd be a 6-figure bookkeeper from where I was last year, because last year I took a massive step back to spend a lot of time with my nephew, so my revenue was quite low last year. But yeah, to be able to achieve it and be that 6-figure bookkeeper and go to that next level would be amazing for next year.
Oh my goodness, wouldn't it just? Absolutely. So before we wrap up and leave bootcamp, I just want to ask you both, our 6-month success program, what has it done for you and your business? Nicola, would you like to start?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't be in business if it wasn't for the 6-month success program. Like I said before, I did the program before I even launched my business. And I think that's obviously given me a great start. I've only been going for 10 months and I'm quite well known under the 6-figure bookkeepers now. So, yeah.
And you've got 50 clients and you've got your 2 sons working with you.
Yeah, and that's been achieved within it's actually been achieved in the last 6 months, because the first 4 months there was nothing around. I was ready to give up, wasn't I? I remember it back in November. I said, I just can't do this. Nothing's happening. Nothing's going to work. And you said to me, I can just see you. You're in the diamond mine, and you just need to do one more push. The diamond, one more push, and the diamonds will be there. And you were right, because from January, it's just snowballed. So it's not just. I did the course, but being part of the group, it's unbelievable. That for me beats the course hands down. I mean, the course was fantastic and it helped me launch. But being part of the Success Lounge now, I've met so many people in there that I could call friends. My kind of people. It's just so funny sometimes, some of the conversations that go on. We've all met up a few times and it's just great. I've got friends for life, I think, in the group.
Oh, that's so lovely, Nicola. And yeah, I'm so proud of you, because I do remember that post, and we all have that. And that's the thing, it's a place to share vulnerably, when things are going well, but also when things are really and I could see the effort you were putting in, and I was heartbroken when you said, I don't think I can do this anymore. And I was just like, just one final push, please, because I can see that you're doing everything that we've taught you. But like anything, it does need consistency. It does need time. and you did, and then like poof, look at you now. It just was a catalyst for that. And I think I'm a bit of a believer that sometimes things like test you to see like, are you really worthy? And you were so worthy for it. You're so worthy. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. And thank you so much for sharing. That's so great. And Steph,
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And Steph, for you, when did you join us in your journey?
So I was nearly 3 years into my journey before I knew about the Six-Figure Bookkeeper. I'd seen both of you at Accounting Web in December 2021. Yeah. So then when I saw that there was a boot camp in January, I was like, oh, I'm going to see what this is all about. And honestly, I was so fired up that week. By the Wednesday, I'd signed up to the six figures. I wanted all the bonuses. I was just like, yes, give it me. And you know, from that, I implemented Practice Ignition. I've implemented Center, and you know, whilst I haven't like fully completed the program is there for me to pick up as and when I need to. But it's the sessions that have just been amazing for me. Like, you know, the office hours, learning every week something new. You know, the accountability sessions, they've been fantastic in making me focus on my own business, because that is one thing that we can really fail as bookkeepers and accountants, is we work so hard to make sure everybody else has got their numbers and got their own systems and processes in place, and we put our own business last. And those 2 hours on a Friday morning when, you know, Zoe's going, right, so what are you working on today? When you put it out there and you say, right, I'm going to be working on my center, and at the end of the 2 hours you're asked, how have you got on? If you haven't done anything, or you haven't said what you were going to do, you've got that accountability, and it really does push you to focus on your own business. And also a bit of life admin. You know, we all put things off. Like, you know, I've done my car insurance on last week's accountability session. This morning I've booked Phantom of the Opera and a wine tasting weekend in London. You know, a little bit of life admin slips into these accountability sessions, but sometimes, you know, we've got to remember that we've got lives as well, and
100%.
Making time for that is something that, you know, we all find challenging, you know, but it's one of the biggest things that I'm trying to work on at the moment is getting some time back. Yeah, the accountability sessions, and like you say, the community, and being able to support each other as well, whether that's, you know, replying to people's questions, or, you know, geeing somebody up if they're having a really bad time, or celebrating the wins. You know, we don't celebrate enough. So being able to celebrate people's achievements in the group as well, whether that's, you know, just the bookkeeping community or within the success program, it's just a fantastic space to be, and I love being part of it.
We love having you both in the community as well, Al. We are so lucky to have you, and it's I think that's so important. I remember, I think it was Libby Walklet. She had this big win, and she came and told us all in her group. She went, I haven't even told my husband yet. And I just think it was so funny that we were her first thought, and we were just like, yay, because we are a bit of a different breed. We're entrepreneurs, and we're in the bookkeeping and accounting space. There's not millions of us, and it's really nice to hang out with like-minded people. So if you are considering our 6-month success program, and that comes with 6 months access to our Success Lounge, you are very, very welcome. We have some offers, as you can see here on sixfigurebookkeeper.com/offer. Some of the bonuses run out tonight at midnight, but otherwise you are feel free to join. If you want a bit more time to think, you can pay in full or you can pay in installments. We don't charge any interest. It's completely up to you. And you can join as long as it's before the new members call on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. because we want to get everybody together then. And if you can't make that call, it will be recorded. Anyway, I'm just going to quickly show the quick video of what's included in the 6-month success program. my goodness! And look at you two being in the video as well.
I know, I didn't even realise I was.
Doing a little dance there, groovy tunes.
Yeah. Oh, and just so you know as well, there's obviously other things that are we set up and start all the time. So at the I think it's next week. Yeah, it is next week. We're starting a new session, which is going to be with Chris Downing from Sage, which is an MTD session. And this is brand new. We haven't had this before, and he's going to do that once a month. So he's going to come in once a month. He's going to teach you something about MTD, and then there's going to be a Q&A afterwards. And I think because me and Zoe just want to leverage your power, make sure that you are, you have as much knowledge as possible to go out and run these businesses. So I'm really excited by that. And James today as well said, maybe we should do something else with your membership as well. So watch this space. There might be even more. And if you're a member, and if you bought the program, that program is lifetime access. Like Steph said, Steph has come in and she hasn't really touched the program because she's just, she's 3 years into her business. She's done, her foundations were there, but she's lapping up the Success Lounge. And she also knows that program will be there and it will be there for life. So she can do that when she's got time. Whereas Nicola, at the beginning of her journey, was like, give me the program. I want to take it all in and get all the knowledge out of mine and Zoe's head that we've put down and start that practice there and then. But also Nicola's also been a massive contributor to the membership, I think we've got over 130 people in the membership now, and they're all absolutely smashing it. So we would absolutely love to welcome you new members. If you have any questions, like I said, add me as a friend on Facebook. I've had some people DM me. I tend to voice note back rather than write anything out because I'm usually doing something else at the time. But I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Please do so. Thoroughly enjoyed being with you all tonight. Sorry, Zoe's not here. She's got one of her children needed her. So it's been absolutely fantastic spending this whole week with you guys as usual. We have had an absolute ball and we can't wait till the next one. The next one will be in September, I believe. We tend to obviously we have summer holidays and people going away and etc. So it's nice to come back in the new school year and all of us to be fired up and ready to take action there. So we will be doing our next boot camp then. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us and giving up your time. We really do appreciate it. The stuff will all stay in the Six Figure Bookkeepers Club until Monday, Tuesday, and then it'll be taken down. So all the Rise framework sessions and things will be taken down and added to our Bookkeepers bundles for future bonuses. But the other items will be out on YouTube, so you'll still be able to catch those. So thank you to our guests this evening. Thank you so much for being here with us. And we will see you again. See you at the next boot camp, but I'm sure lots of time at the next podcast. We will be here on our Bookkeepers podcast every Wednesday at 1 p.m. live in the Facebook group. We'll see you later. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.
Bye.